So I'll move these, and I'll get to philosophy. So here's philosophy. Got a little skeleton guy here. Got that actually from Disney World, I believe. What else? What do I have in here? Oh yeah. Well, there's Dailies to Plato. There's Augustine. I should go in order though. I don't know what this printed. I think this is the Republic. I got a photocopy of the Republic there, or some, maybe a chapter from it. So, anyways, there's Trial of Socrates. It's a good place to start, although there were pre-Socratics. There's the Greek philosophy, Plato, more Plato. Republic is about justice, the main purpose of writing the Republic. Although I should mention, though, the Republic, I think, is a mistranslation. It's not just me who thinks it, but I've heard this. It really should be called the total state. He wasn't talking about a republic in the sense of a government republic. He really was talking about a total state, a totalitarian state. So it really should be called the state or the total state, not the republic. He's not talking about a republic. There are some other ones by Plato. This is, of course, Socrates dies in the Credo, and the Apology is his trial. Plato, here's a nice, really wonderfully old but wonderful book on Aristotle. More Aristotle, his Ethics. There's some St. Augustine, and I've got, of course, his main St. Augustine one is called The City of God. By the way, just because if you're not religious and I'm not religious, that doesn't mean you can't get anything out of religious works, especially ones like this. These people were very intelligent, ingenious people. Certainly St. Thomas Aquinas as well. They had to wrestle with a metaphysics that was set in stone, a metaphysics of theology, and they had to understand everything else based on this. And that required some brains. So you should not discount those things. Here's a book on Chinese thought. And more Chinese. Oh, here's Confucius. I have a 2-part review on Confucius, so check that out. Sun Tzu's Art of War is a very important book for everyone to read, so you should definitely check that out. And here's the equivalent Japanese version. It's not I shouldn't say it's a version, but it's similar. There's Aquinas, more Aquinas, Erasmus. So now we're getting into the Renaissance. Bacon. I've got some of these ones up here. Leibniz, Spinoza, Hegel. I've got Aristotle. Oh, I've got that one in a new pile. I still got to do the January books, new books, so they're not on the shelf here. There's Descartes, empiricists. There's Spinoza, Bishop. Actually, a lot of people call it Berkeley, Bishop Berkeley. That just looks like Berkeley to me, but apparently it's Bishop Berkeley. There's David Hume. So these are the empiricists, of course. Locke, Hume, and Bishop Berkeley. There's Kant, the beginning of rationalism. Interesting. Trying to think where I was reading. I think it might have been Mortimer J. Adler. He was saying that basically Locke on, so yeah, or Descartes even, maybe Descartes on. Their major error was they did not read the ancient philosophers. They kind of started out from scratch, and they made a lot of errors that the ancients corrected. Kant specifically, he wrote in response to Hume, and took some of Hume's errors with him. So I guess it just says that we really should be, to understand discipline, you have to know its history. And I just wonder, even doing a PhD as I am now, my PhD is based on the history of philosophy of ed, and I think it's been a wonderful education, and I don't know why everyone else isn't doing it. You want to go into ed psych, you want to go into social justice research, you want to go into curriculum research. It just seems to me you've got to study the history. You can't do anything unless you study the history. There's Hegel. Here's Nietzsche. Nietzsche is great. Nietzsche is not a system builder like the other guys, but Nietzsche is very poetic. Thus spake I've heard thus spake Zarathustra. I've heard thus spake Zarathustra, which is what I call it. It doesn't matter, I guess. If you have these two works, you have all of Nietzsche's stuff. These two are everything. This one is in one of these, and this one is in one of these, and even this one's in one of these. But anyways, I use this Dover. Dovers are cheap books, so they're inexpensive. Thus Speaks Zarathustra is a very good book, and people should read that for sure. Here's Durkheim. I guess I haven't really been looking for stuff to throw out. I'm probably going to get rid of one of these because I don't think I need them. Durkheim is not that significant. He's kind of the beginning of sociology as Durkheim. Bertrand Russell, stuff on Bertrand Russell here. I do have his History of Western Philosophy. I don't know what I did with it, actually. It's somewhere around here. I don't know where it is. There's Emerson. He's got some good stuff. See, not system builders, right? These guys aren't system builders. None of these guys are system builders. Bertrand Russell's an analytical philosopher guy, not a system builder. There's Moore. There's Popper. Not system builders. They're not great philosophers, but they've had to do a lot of criticism and stuff like that. I guess I should mention this here. I've got this book sitting here because I've been meaning to do a book series on it on YouTube, and I just haven't been getting around to it. I've got all kinds of notes. I read the book, and I've made all kinds of notes. This is a fantastic book, and people should read it. But I got to do a book thingy on it because it's just, it'll be long, but it doesn't matter. I don't care, because people who watch the long hauls are the people that I'm probably most interested in communicating with. Okay, and more philosophy down here. Here's a mask. I don't know what it's from, but it's just a tourist mask thing. It's certainly not valuable. All of these books here are A Long History of Philosophy by Copplestone. Here's the first one here. But this goes all the way to Russell, I think. So that's a pretty, well, certainly not for everyone, but here's just like a well, I don't know what you'd call it, I want to say tourist, but that's not the right word. It's just, I don't even know why I'm talking about it. It's not important. Here's some Adler books I've gotten recently. 10 Philosophical Mistakes, and this one's by Hospers. Oh, yeah, I was actually thinking of, well, I guess I won't throw that out. I don't know about this one. This one was like $1 from Amazon, I remember I got. I don't know if it's worth anything. I probably should look at it. Maybe I'll take it out, and then I'll look at it and see if I want to throw it out or not. And I guess there was nothing up there I was going to throw out. I don't think so. Philosophy's pretty good. I don't really have a lot of nonsense in philosophy. I don't have a lot of duplicates or anything like that. Here's some other general philosophy books. So Durant is important. If you are not really into philosophy, if you are just a Renaissance man, kind of like a person who wants to educate themselves, if you don't have any philosophy at all, you should have Durant's Story of Philosophy as a primary. And if you hate nonfiction, then read this one. Read Sophie's World. This is a fiction, is a story method of talking about philosophy and the basics of philosophy. So take Sophie's World then, if you don't like nonfiction, if it bores you to death. Here's some other general books in philosophy. This is supposed to be good. Qui Nelson. It's a woman. I've never heard of Qui, the first name, but it's a woman, I believe. The Slightest Philosophy. It's supposed to be about critiquing postmodernism, I think, and kind of the modern nonsense that are really corrupting the world and putting us back into a kind of a dark age. Here's some other ones I got in recently. Zen, the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, supposed to be a philosophy book. There's The Matrix in Philosophy. This is one on medical ethics, which I don't have anything on medical ethics. I don't really have any medical books, so I probably should keep that. Here's some books I probably won't keep. This one I don't think is worth anything. I don't even know if this one... See, what I'd like to get is a logic book, and I don't have one. And I've been looking for one, and I'll find one eventually, but I don't even know if this is worth anything. It says Principles of Reasoning for Readers and Writers. I probably should keep one, I guess. I'll keep that one. This one is kind of a crappy book, but I have to have it because it's on the enemy, so... from the modern to the postmodern. So I'm going to have to see what they have to say. This is into some moral philosophy here. A couple moral philosophy books. There's Sam Harris's book on the moral landscape, which is his attempt to prove that science can deliver us an ethical theory. There's a book. This one I remember from Rachel's actually has Ayn Rand in it, which is rare. Here's some books by Stefan Molyneux. You may know he's a YouTube guy. I got these a long time ago when he was first starting out. This is actually not bad. Gairdner's book. People say, oh, there's no absolutes, nothing is true, but he actually talks about there's all kinds of absolutes, actually. There's all, especially stuff that happens in every culture that's ever existed on Earth. Things that happen like dance. Every culture has had a form of dance in their ceremonies. That's one I remember. I think every culture has taboos, specifically taboos against incest and some other stuff. There's all kinds of absolutes, things that always happen. There's a science and philosophy book. I don't know what's in there, but there's here's a big book on William James, which I remember getting in my master's and never needing to open, even though I took psychology courses. I didn't believe that. Book on pragmatism, existentialism. Here's Wilson's book on consilience. His thesis, or his attempt in the book, was to unify everything: physical sciences, social sciences, and humanities. Interesting attempt. I don't think he did it, but I applaud the attempt. Here's a book on individuals from a philosophy perspective. There's Derrida. Free will is important, of course. On Dennett. On Consciousness by Dennett. He's a philosophy of mind guy, Dennett, of course. Dennett is a rabid materialist, though. There's another book. These are a couple more books on philosophy of mind. Determinism and free will books over there. And just thought I'd show you this. I did join briefly Laissez, Faire books. They're a book club, and I did order these books by Mises, by I don't know what that one's about. The middle one's Friedman. The fourth one's Hayek. The last one is an anthology, I think, edited by Rothbard. I don't know what the middle one. I think the author was a dude. I don't know if it's. I can't remember the author's name of the middle one. And there's a little duck. I guess it's knitted. There's another bookcase piece. Okay, down to more philosophy. We've got here. Oh, this is my Ayn Rand area. So I've got most of her stuff over here, but some of it is elsewhere, like her fiction. There on the far side, there's a book on Ayn Rand. I don't need to. If you want to hear about that, then just search for the book. All my videos are indexed. All the descriptions of the videos have all the books that I talk about in each video. So if you just want to find a book I talk about, then just search for it on my channel, and the video will come up where I talk about it. I'll just show you this, though. Like, this is all the standard stuff, right? This is all the standard stuff. And there's the journals. I got that for free, actually, from the freeobjectivistbooks.com. They just sent it to me for free. Here is, I like this. I got this from a talk that I was at my local university. There was a talk there. And it just has like a summary of everything, which is great. So I kept that piece of paper. Okay, and here's some other stuff. There's some Marx, of course. Bastiat, of course, he's a classical liberal. Liberalism, there's some Mises. Isaiah Berlin, there's stuff up here too. There's Marx. Oh, there's Ideas That Matter by Grayling, I mean. I have read that. It's actually, and it's like a dictionary or a encyclopedia, I guess, on stuff in philosophy. I think I lost my light, or maybe not. It's okay. But it is a reference book. It's not like a coherent narrative. It's just he's got entries in there about different stuff. There's a couple more Ayn Rand books. There's some little pamphlets I got also. Healthcare and Nature of Government, little pamphlets. Here's a couple little things I'll show you. A little dragon with a little white silver thing for... I use that for, like, okay, as a shelf separator. These books are different than these kind of thing. Although they're not, I don't think they're really doing anything for me right now. They're just kind of sitting here. They're not really separating anything. Here's a little idle thing, and here's another one. Here's a little wizard. Here's The Law by Bastiat. You should read that. Very important. If you read anything by Bastiat or anything interesting about classical liberalism or law, then read this. Here's a little owl. Little tiny owl. Okay, where was it? Libertarianism books. I actually recently got another one in by Murray, which you'll see in the January video. There's Nozick. There's some books on the Constitution. Glenn Beck writing about the Constitution. I guess I'll see what he has to say. It was inexpensive, so Federalist Papers, of course. So this is all kinds of stuff about American Revolution and all that. John Stuart Mill, of course. Tolstoy on civil disobedience. There's The Prince by Machiavelli. That's a good one. I've read that one. Stuff on Hobbes, of course. Rousseau. Social contract is an important theory. Here's some other ones. That's Montesquieu and Rousseau. And this one is People in Italy. On People in Italy, like Machiavelli, but some other people too. And, okay. And I'm actually going to do the bottom shelf in a second here. Just going to check my battery on my cell phone.